It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you're Ashleigh Simons, founder of Sade Milan Skin. Before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Ashleigh Simons, like you said. I'm a mom. I still have a full-time job. I went to university in Tampa. I studied business management. That was my background. I feel like this business is my...
That's your new hobby, right?
That's my new hobby. That's what I truly enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, just being with my friends and family.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool that you can make money off of your hobby.
Yes.
Look, I need to figure out what that looks like in my life. Is it something you've always done? Like, how did you get into making skincare products?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. This was definitely a surprise movement for me.
Yeah.
Over the pandemic, I had, gotten a couple of ingrown hairs, and I was just like, these are so annoying to get.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just a thought, okay, I'm going to do a little DIY to see if I can help myself. And then the more that I got into, the research part of it, I just found out that there were so many other women, especially women of color,
Yes,
that had this similar problem. So I was like, okay, well, if I can figure this out for myself, maybe I could, figure it out for a lot of other people as well.
Mm-hmm. To me, it's interesting because it's like gone and taken on a life of its own, right? From just a little thought for you to do something to take care of yourself. So, but I would imagine that there's like chemistry and all this stuff required. So was that your background? Did you go to school for biology, chemistry, anything in the sciences? No?
No. So it was just playing around, and I was just like, once I got more serious about it, and I was like, okay, like I can do this.
Yeah.
I took a formulations course.
Okay.
To figure out, what ingredients work best together, which don't. And it was just a lot of trial and error, lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Yes.
Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in the pandemic. Nobody's going anywhere. You're like, let me solve this for myself. When did you know that this could be something that other people will want to purchase?
Once I started talking to other people.
Okay.
So, I would tell my friends or like the dance moms that, my daughter goes to school with, like, hey guys, like I'm thinking about doing this. Is this something that you would be interested in?
Right.
And they're like, oh my gosh, like I've had this issue since I was 20.
Yeah.
I've been looking for products for ingrown hairs, dark marks, and I haven't found anything that works. So once you get going, I'd like to try samples.
Yeah.
And the conversations just started like that.
Okay.
Just organically, just talking to people and everyone being like, yeah, like I would use this.
So for us, like at BDC, we're always talking to entrepreneurs about validating their business. Like before you get started, before you invest a whole lot of money, you got to make sure that there's a demand for the product. So for you, those conversations with the moms, the dance moms, were your way of validating the product. But is there anything else that you did to say, okay, yeah, I think I can do this full time? Any other ways that you validated whether or not it was going to work?
Yeah, so when I was doing my research about like ingrown hair serums and stuff like that, I would see on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok about women speaking about, I wish that there was something that I could use or wish that something would work for me.
Right.
So once I saw all those little conversations, I'm like, okay, like if I could figure this out there, that would be a good space to be, and people want it already.
Right.
They just haven't found something that's working.
Okay, so let's back up and tell everyone what Sade Milan Skin is.
So we're an all-natural skincare brand with a primary focus on intimate skincare. So I offer products like bikini oil, ingrown hair serum, turmeric scrub, dark mark corrector to help women who have ingrown hairs and dark marks. I have expanded into like a general body care line where we have body oils, body washes, body butters. But the primary focus was intimate skincare.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about like the overall market with skincare. It seems like everybody is coming. People must have had the same problem during COVID. They was like, I'm sitting here doing nothing now. What am I going to do? Start a skincare line. Okay. But the fact that you focused on that kind of intimate skincare, I think was niche, right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody does that.
Not everybody's doing it. Yeah.
And it's needed, though. We don't talk about it, right? Because it's like intimate. So you're not going around telling people like, this is my issue. But obviously there was a demand for it. Mm-hmm. So tell me, okay, you figured it out. People want it. Now you're making it. What was that like rollout like? How did you first start getting the product into people's hands?
Yep. So I remember I started my Instagram page on my birthday. I put up a post on my personal page to say, hey, come follow my business page, because I knew that was the most traffic I would get to my personal page. And for the next 6 months, I didn't have anything to sell, but I would just post every day about like educational content, funny content, things that women could relate to for 6 months. And then by the time that I did launch, after that time, everybody was like,
they was waiting.
Where's the product? Yeah. like we're prepped, we're primed, we're ready.
Yes.
And so when that my initial launch happened, I definitely did not expect the response that I got, but I sold out of everything I had in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So,
what?
Yeah.
So in your mind, that's like great, right? But in your mind, what did you think was going to happen?
Not that I don't know. I knew that people were interested.
Yeah.
So I thought I would have had, stuff for at leed 2 months, and then I get, the funds and reinvest it. But it just went. I was like, oh, okay.
I need to step my game up. Production line needs to increase. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's a good problem to have, I think, initially. That way you know that what you thought, like those conversations you had with the dance moms, actually was true. Because sometimes, your friends and families, they'd be like, yeah, girl, do it. I'll buy it. And then you do it, and next thing you know, you have all this stock. But that wasn't your reality. So I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
So talk to me about when you were like, okay, this is the thing. I'm going to have to do this on a more recurring basis. Now, are you doing it full-time now?
No.
Or still part-time?
Still part-time.
So tell me what needs to happen. Do you want it to be full-time?
Eventually, I think, when the time is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the time is right mean? Like, what does that look like for you?
It looks like a bit more financial stability. Like, okay. I don't want to be a full-time entrepreneur and struggling. Like,
yes, I understand that.
I still want to be comfortable in that space. It looks like having the tools and the machinery to help me, I guess, take more of the manual processes out for me. I'm only one person. So by having the automatic machines, the electronic stuff to help me increase output, that would be a factor. Hiring help would be a factor. I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And, Sade Milan has kind of taken on
a
life of its own.
It has. I still haven't been able to get nothing. I'm like, dang it. I'm not on the computer. Like, my colleagues are waiting. They're like, and I'm like, but it's gone already. So, okay. So, for the people like us who are slow to click, we kind of help you out. So, speaking of increasing production and the things that you need in order to be able to do that, you recently entered the Wave of Opportunity pitch competition. Partnered with Global Atlantic Reef Foundation. So tell me, what made you think to enter the competition in the first instance?
My friends were like, the extra funding would help you. You should try it out. I didn't submit my application probably 2 hours before it was due because I was nervous about it, like just speaking in front of a crowd of people.
Yeah.
But I just sent in the application. I was like,
we'll see, right? Yeah. You have to try.
I just tried.
I always tell people, I'm like, you have to be in it to win it, right? There's nothing worse than thinking about doing something and then not doing it and then wondering what would have happened had you done it, right? Because you won. Yeah. Like, you had $25,000. So 2 hours before closing time, that was a good decision for you. Yeah. So in terms of the funds that you receive, what are your plans for those funds? Like, how are you going to take Sade Milan to the next level?
Yeah, so I recently got a rental space in St. George's.
Okay.
It's now Sade Milan Home. So it'll be fixing that to be more fit for purpose. So, being able to order the shelving to put all the ingredients and the ready-made products, getting the machinery that I want, the kitchen supplies that I need, the mixers, the filling machines, all of that. So just really creating the space that I need.
Okay.
For Sade Milan.
And is that going to be production or is that going to be retail too?
No, just production.
Just production. Okay. People going to be in the window like...
They already kind of are.
That's a great problem to have because, so from my standpoint, it seems like you are poised to do this full time. You just need the capital so that you can go full on, right? Because it's just you, right?
It's just me.
And you have a full-time job, right? Do you have children?
I have a daughter.
You have a daughter. So it's like dividing your time amongst this, you know what I mean? And the people are telling you like, come on, like.
I know, every day.
All right. So, education is a big part of your mission. So how do you incorporate educational elements into your business to empower us, your clients, to feel confident in their own skin?
Yeah, so I try to do posts that are not like talking at people. Like there are some static posts, okay, about this is what you could do for your feminine hygiene. These are things that you shouldn't do. There are posts like that, but I try to incorporate reels and more fun content that just show people, okay, you can use these products in your daily life, and I share my daily life. Like this is, my shower routine. This is what I would do if I'm going out, and the body products that I would use. This is what I would do if I'm on my period. So just people being able to, I guess, get a peek into my life and show them that, hey, you can use these products in the same way. You can try it out for yourself. So that's more of my style of education, along with, more memes and just fun stuff that, women relate to that, the man wouldn't really understand. So it's just okay, it just may be a funny post about, the things that we go through at the waxing salon, or the things that we go through when we visit the gynecologist. But just in a fun and engaging way.
So how did you know that was the secret sauce, right? In terms of deciding how to engage with your customers and clients. Is that just your personality in general, or did you say, if I were looking at something and wanted information, this is what I would want? How did you figure it out?
I guess it was more trial and error.
Okay.
Like I just used Instagram as a means. I'm like, okay, I'll try posting this way, see how people respond. I'll try this way, see how people respond. And once reels were introduced and more video content was introduced, I was like, okay, I'll just try it.
Yeah.
And it worked. People like to see other people's lives.
Yeah, I think so. It's like you get a peek into, someone else's life. And I think it also creates a kind of bond or relationship. It's almost like people know you, right?
Yeah.
And that you would be willing to let people in, I think builds that kind of authenticity that people appreciate, Yeah,
and some of it is stylized, like, for branding purposes to make it look a certain way, but I still try to incorporate my content into my daily life, and I think that's kind of the trick, is to not have it always be a production.
Right.
Just, okay, if I'm doing something, let me just get the camera and just film it.
Yeah.
And, edit it how I need to.
I think that is great. And I think that with social media and all the different ways in which you can engage with customers, it really does allow you to foster that connection, right? Which helps you because now when you drop, people are like, okay. Yeah. So talk to me about these drops, ma'am. So do you have like a schedule of when you're going to do things, how much you're going to do? What is that process like?
So it is, again, another bit of trial and error. So I do try to do it once a quarter.
Okay.
When in that quarter, I can't say.
Okay.
But a lot of the time, I'll have shipping delays. A lot of my packaging comes from China. So there is that lag of getting things to me, which is, part of the reason for the gaps. And then obviously me having the time to make everything as well. So yeah, I try for once a quarter.
Once a quarter. Okay. So when like how far are we into the first or second quarter? Like when should we expect?
So I just had our holiday restock on December 4th. So that just passed. So the next one will most likely be March.
Oh my God.
February or March.
See? So the stuff from December 4th is gone.
Most of it.
Yeah. Okay. See? Okay. Right. Fine. I'm not going to take it personally. I feel like last time we talked, I was like, so can you bring samples or something? But that's fine. It's fine. I'll just have to. So for people who don't know or want to be one of the first ones to know, how do they get on a list or something so that they can be prepared for February or March?
So firstly, I would say everyone to follow my Instagram page.
Okay.
Sade Milan Skin on Instagram. But also on my website, there is a mailing list. So you can enter your email address and, you get notified for restocks.
Okay. So now the products that you sell are primarily for women, or are they kind of unisex? Anyone can use them who's experiencing like ingrown hairs or anything like that?
I mean, I primarily promote to women, but men do purchase.
Yeah.
Or girlfriends or wives will purchase for their partners. But men get ingrown hairs too. They get dark marks too. So,
yeah.
They will use the ingrown hair serum that I offer, and use that for their faces primarily.
Is that your most popular product, or okay, which is your most popular product?
For men or for women?
Just in general, the one that sells out all the time that you no longer have in stock.
In general, it's our Dreamy body oil.
Okay.
So it's a body oil that you would use after the shower. It's the scent that people really really take to. So that's the most popular one.
And where do you source your scents? Like, how did you come up with this combination?
So, trial and error. Just finding, there are fragrance sites where you can, they'll give you descriptions of what things smell like. So, it's really just what I think would smell good and mixing things together. And it's more trial and error. It's all the science.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, chemist. That's what I'm going to have to start calling you. Whatever you're doing is working, right? So even though it's trial and error, you have found combinations that people resonate with and want. So with your last drop, did you introduce a men's product?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I found was that a lot of women were coming to me saying, oh my gosh, my boyfriend keeps stealing my stuff. So I was like, okay, the fragrance that is the most popular, it's not overly feminine.
Okay.
So it does appeal to men as well, and they would just take their stuff. So I was like, okay, they want it, so I'll, put it in different packaging form that's a bit more masculine.
Right.
For them to use. So I did the body wash that they would always steal. And then I did a separate fragrance just for them.
Okay.
That was a body oil and a fragrance roller oil that they could use as like a cologne.
Okay.
And the response for that has been really good. They're like, oh, we like this.
Yeah.
Like, can you keep it up? I had only really intended it for just a test, just to see for Christmas.
Yeah.
And, if it didn't work out, I'd be like, oh, it was just for Christmas.
Right.
And, we'll never do it again. But the response has been really good.
And I think that makes sense. That's a practical way to see if something's going to work, right? So before adding it to your full line of products, you test it out and you're like, okay, the response was good, so we'll add this. It'll be a recurring theme. Because, I'll be mad, right? Like if I go in and it's empty, I'm mad now when I go in. I'm like, it's right.
Yep.
My stuff, because it is. The demand is high, but the supply is not, because you only do it quarterly. So you can't be using my stuff. Get your own.
You sound just like I am. So they're happy that they have their own.
They're happy that they have their own. That's awesome. So in terms of like a full line of products, you mentioned you started with intimate care, you've introduced a men's line of product, and you also started introducing just regular skincare products. Do you have any plans of building on to your product line? Like, what are the plans to do that?
Yeah, eventually. I have a laundry list of just things that I would like to try, but I think I need to get a better handle on the logistics that I have now, and trying to better meet the demand that I have now. So I don't want to introduce too many products that I can't keep up with.
Right. Because, again, it's just you, right?
Just me.
Making it.
So once I get, into a place where I have the machinery that I would like to be able to increase production more, then I think I would be able to be like, okay, I can
try,
introduce new things. It would be manageable.
Yes. And then you got to get somebody else, because you don't need to be in there. You're the chemist, like you're the one coming up with the recipes and then showing someone else how to do it so that you could be off doing other things. Now, you mentioned your packaging and the branding for the men's product, and your packaging is very, I don't want to say minimalist, but it looks very expensive because of the way you did it. Was that by design?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? How did you arrive there?
Yeah, so I knew for my line, I wanted it to look, well, one, different to the other products that are in the feminine hygiene space. I feel like a lot of products are, lots of pinks, peaches, very bright. And I wanted something a little bit more minimal. I wanted it to look clean, sophisticated. And when I started the business, I wanted women to create a routine or have a routine that they could follow. So I was of the thought, okay, if it's in, minimal packaging, it would blend in with anyone's bathroom, bedroom, whatever. And they could keep it on their countertop so they can always see it to keep up with their routine. Sometimes out of sight, out of mind. You buy products, you stick them in a cupboard and you don't use them. But with the way that they look, people leave them on the countertops because it looks nice. So I wanted it to just have that sophisticated look. And
it does. You achieve that.
I also find that in this space, I would walk around the pharmacy and there's the ingrown hair products, typically geared towards men. They're like on the lowest shelf in the back of the pharmacy. So I wanted to have, a different experience for women where, it's not so, I guess, quote unquote, shameful to have these issues. They're very normal and it can be in nice packaging. Yeah.
Well, you did it, girl.
Thank you.
And so did you work, who did you work with? Like, what was your team? Who were the partners that helped you come up with this type of design? You. So you have a background in design too? Okay, so she's a chemist, she's a designer, she's a graphic designer, she's making stuff. Like, what is going on?
I didn't have the money for all of that.
Yeah.
I figured it out on my own. And, I would go on YouTube, TikTok, be like, okay, how do you design a label?
Yeah.
Where do you print labels? What do you, different fonts to use?
Yeah.
I just figured it out.
That's really, really impressive, actually. Because I would think that, you're trying to do these things, and entrepreneurship by itself is a lot. And to go from having a full-time job and then saying, okay, I'm going to start this whole business and just go to YouTube University, that's okay. All right. It can work.
It can.
So let me ask you this, though. In terms of entrepreneurship, do you have experience, or is there anyone in your family? Do you know people that were entrepreneurs and you were like, yeah, I can do that? I they were sort of like a mentor, or how did you come to? You just said, I want to do it. I want this.
Do it. Yeah, I'm just gonna try it out. I just thought about it so much, so often. I was I need to get it out of my system.
Right.
So I'm gonna just figure it out and try.
Okay. Yeah. And you did it. I love it. When it comes to the business itself and all of this trial and error, what would you say was the most challenging thing for you? And then how did you overcome it?
It's the formulations part.
Okay.
That is still the hardest part, because researching ingredients, getting them to Bermuda, them not working out, trying again. The frustration sometimes of, okay, this isn't working how I need it to.
Right.
In particular with the ingrown hair serum that I offer, I don't know how many versions of that I did.
Yeah.
Sometimes it didn't smell right, it didn't feel right, it made the issue worse. So just taking the time and just realizing that it's a journey.
Right.
To figuring it all out, yeah.
So in terms of your testing, like, how did you do that? Were you your test subject?
Definitely on myself first. My friends got a couple of bad versions. So thank you to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly people that I knew. Some people were customers who were just like, so sometimes people would DM me with the issues that they have.
Right.
So I would remember, she had an issue with dark marks.
Yes.
When I figured this out, I can ask her if she would be open
to
using it, for free, and just, sending me pictures and updates, if it worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
So some were customers who I knew had certain issues, and they would be a good person to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure they said what, free product? Okay, sign me up. Well, that's great. What would you say has been the biggest lesson you've learned as an entrepreneur so far?
Let me think. I guess just going for it. When I first started, I was very nervous because I didn't know how people would respond. And now it's just the mentality of, okay, just try. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Like, I've just changed my mindset from being, I guess, more timid and fearful to being like, okay, I can do this. I just need to figure out the hows, the whys, the wheres. And, it'll work out how it's supposed to work out.
And I want to go back to how when you did the pitch competition, right? And you were like, oh, I don't know, should I do it? But I was there and I saw you pitch and you did great.
Thank you.
So, to go from being nervous or, like you said, timid, and then just willing yourself to say, look, can do it. And I agree with you. I take that same mindset. What's the worst that can happen? You don't win? Well, if you hadn't done it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you'd never know.
Right. And you're no worse off, right? But you did win, right? And so it was definitely a risk worth taking. So I would say congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Crossing the barrier, because sometimes fear is that's the biggest barrier that holds us back, right? Because we're like, what if this and what if that and what if they don't like it and all these things that you, I'm sure, encountered, but you still pushed forward and did it, right? And you're doing it.
Yeah.
So for you, in terms of Sade Milan, first of all, like, where's the name? Because you're Ashleigh.
Yes.
So where did Sade Milan come from?
That's my daughter's middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the full name is Sade Milan.
So, well, her first name is Amia, but her middle name is Sade Milan.
Oh, nice. It works, right? When you think of it, it sounds very, I don't know, soothing. I don't know if it's because of the singer Sade. I don't know what it is, but I think it works. And then, like you said, with the packaging, it is very minimalist, but very nice, like you said. And so I think the two of them work well together. I don't know. I feel like you have this, it's not luck, but everything seems to be working. Even though, like you said, you did most of it yourself. So you just have a natural knack for these things, it seems.
Yeah, it's a lot of gut instincts.
Gut instinct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, listen to that inner voice, right? Sometimes we hear it. We all have it, but we don't always listen to it. But you're listening to yours, and I think that's great. Can you share any feedback or success stories from the customers that have been especially poignant or meaningful for you?
There was one in particular, two in particular, that I always think about. One, this mother, she had stopped me in the grocery store, and she was like, she was a customer, and she's like, now I'm, having these types of conversations with my teenage daughter, and like I direct her to your page, and it's made conversations with her easier. So I was like, that's great, because a lot of the times, or at least, my age group growing up, there's just certain things you just don't really talk about. You don't, yeah. And so you're left up to your own devices or the internet or friends who, may not necessarily know the right information. And so that was great to hear, because I'm like, okay, like I'm on the right path, and it's opening up conversations that we ordinarily wouldn't. So that was great. And then another one, a woman, she messaged me to say, it was actually this summer, she's like, this is the first summer where I've actually worn a bikini to the beach.
Really?
Like, and not because of her size, but because she was embarrassed about her bikini line.
Yeah.
She's like, I've been consistent with your products, and I wore a bikini to the beach.
Yes.
So I was just like, yes.
It's working.
Yes.
I'm sure that must make you feel so good, because you're like, I'm achieving that goal that I set forth, and not just for yourself, but for others. The products are working. Yeah. So those testimonials, I'm sure, also assist in terms of getting other people to purchase, right? Do you use those testimonies on your website, or how do you share those wonderful, I guess, examples of your products working with others?
Yeah, so I do have some testimonials. The hard part is, I guess, the photo evidence. Obviously, it's a bit more sensitive, so that is very difficult to get. I don't have a lot of those. I have more, verbal confirmations or DMs to say, hey, this worked. I would like more
before and after kind of.
Afters. Yeah. So I do encourage people to take them. Whether they're willing to share is a whole different story.
Yeah.
But I do encourage it. Yeah.
It's like, we don't have to put your name on it, you know.
Nobody's gonna know that it's you.
Nobody has to know, except some people might know. They'd be like, girl, I saw you on the site. So in terms of balancing your life as an entrepreneur, as a mom, and working someplace full time, how do you prioritize wellness for yourself?
It's hard. I'm not sure I do the greatest job of it. During restock time, I've just given myself grace that, okay, lock in for the period that I need to lock in. And a bit of the self-care kind of goes out the window during that time. But when I'm not in full mode, it's definitely the little things that I try to incorporate, the things that make me happy. Whether it's just a longer bath, whether it's buying myself some flowers, whether it's, talking to a friend, just the little, I try to do the little things throughout my day that don't have to be, a whole spa visit or something grand.
Right.
Or getting my favorite coffee. Just those little bits of, like, joy and happiness throughout the day. Those are, like, my self-care moments.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point, because sometimes we think as women, self-care has to be this grand plan. At least I know I do. I'm like, I need a whole spa day because y'all have been getting that. But stealing little moments, it's more doable, I think, than that big. I mean, we all still need that and want that, but being able to just capture some of those moments during the day, every day, I think could go a long way. Yeah. So that's a good point. So for those who've been inspired by your journey, what advice would you give an up-and-coming entrepreneur?
Just start. Sometimes I feel like that's the hardest part, is getting out of your own way and just starting. But also, aside from that, knowing your target audience. I feel like that is what definitely helped me. Like, I know who I'm speaking to. I know the type of woman that's going to buy my products. I know what music she listens to, where she's going out with her friends. Like, all of those little things help you speak to who you want to purchase from you, your product or service, whatever. So just start, get out of your own way. Everything, you can figure out everything. Somebody before you has done it, unless you have some
revolutionary, right.
super new idea that nobody has ever thought of.
Yeah.
So there are people that you can follow that using YouTube, speaking to other entrepreneurs. Like, what I found when I first started, there were other small business owners who were like, if you need help, I'm here to help. Or don't forget to do this, or, your payroll taxes. Like, just stuff like that. People were very encouraging and were willing to share information. So, reach out to people, speak to people. People are generally speaking, very helpful.
Yeah.
And do your research. I feel like I have a laundry list of things
that people they can do.
Yeah,
that's great.
Just conduct your business how, you like to be a customer. So I know for me, I don't particularly like, dealing through DMs and messaging people. So it's like, okay, I need to have a website so that it's easier for people to purchase and shop. Just thinking about how I shop and just incorporating it into my business. And
very good advice. That's very good advice. So for those who don't know, now they know, but how can they continue to follow up with you, get your products, your website you mentioned, and your Instagram? What are their handles?
So it's www.SadeMilanSkin.com. It's SADE. and at Sade Milan Skin on Instagram.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sade. No, Ashleigh. For minding your business with us. I am definitely going to follow so that I can be advised of the next drop because I'm not missing it. I'm telling myself that's self-care for me. Thank you very much. But yeah, I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for minding your business with us today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.